Well, I want to first say thank you for this invitation. You know, to come to the Pen and Pencil Club, it's such a cool place. And I've been here a couple of times, but to come here and read poetry is really one of the best experiences. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read poems straight through without stopping and introducing them and giving you a background to them. I will kind of take a breath, you know, between some of these poems and just let it fly. I come to tell you this. I am attached to the world by threads, a shadow in the sunlight. But I am filled with you, see you and how you are. I want to hold you close. I know I'm a big part of the problem. I shouted at the top of my voice. Didn't you hear me? I circled around you last night, but you didn't see me. I have excuses, but you don't listen anymore. At times I grow tired of this. I like the silence. How about you? I have important things to say, but sometimes I forget completely. I have wondered what my true vocation is. I think I have great ways to describe things, but it doesn't help anyone understand. I appreciate those who try. I watched you last night in the meeting and you disappointed me. You said things that were completely not true. I have lied and so have you. I have tried to think of some way to make you happy. I used to be shy, but I've gotten over that now. I used to want people to like my poetry, but now I don't care. I want to say words that matter to me. I wish I knew what you wanted. I know this will get me into trouble, but I would love to kiss you. If anyone asks, tell them that I've moved. If my words are not saying what you meant, tell them yourself. If you want the visible reality, go get it. Many different people have lived inside me. I am trying hard to look young. My soul keeps asking questions that I'm not ready to answer. I am scared to learn about myself from someone else. I wish everyone in the world had a poem of their own. I am a villain in far too many of my fantasies. I have forgotten what I wish for, yet I see things in myself that I like. I don't know how you're going to react to this. These days, I can't see the moon stripping off its clothes at night. Wake to find that the darkness has stripped away another layer of what civilized me. Animals are eating away my soil, and all that is left are gnarled roots. Joking, a history professor speculated, scratch your Russian and underneath you'll find a bear. This I understand. Civilization is nothing more than a thin patina, sheen made by age, wear, and polishing, which can be easily scratched away. My poet self has been a protective shield. If I could climb out of this, I could finish this poem, but now I'm without. I can no longer write as for me. I saw a few pinpoints of light wander among the stars. But it is now edited to you and them who might read this. When it drops, at last it can be hidden from me, maybe even becoming you, who can sleep as you, fall down to earth as you, hear the sound of you, how we are in the word together. Sometimes, even often, it is the average experience of something compared to how it felt before. The likelihood of another could be better based on the hidden hand of the exceptional. Not important, somewhat important, important, very important. You ask about these attributes. Sometimes I strongly agree there's a gap between what I would like to do and what I have done. Frequently I focus on those that have disappointed me, yet I neither agree or disagree, but I laugh a lot. Once I never used it. After that, I felt it once a month. At others, every 3 months. Then, I enjoyed it only once. Everything has not been resolved to my complete satisfaction here. However, the woman sitting behind the counter looked right in my eyes, smiled, and gave me a warm hello. Considering the overall value of a day in my life, an exceptional value, worth more than I paid for. And the man sweeping outside stopped, tipped the broom handle on his hat, and allowed me to pass. But we live still through the mass murderers. Live with a litany of gun talk, with the rationale that guns don't kill people, people kill people. We live walking past the homeless and those we suspect pretending to be, a few blocks, maybe miles from a food desert, with others who don't believe all lives matter. Live with the death tolls in far-off lands, with the lottery's chances that we might be the one. As the percentage of a group of voters, non-voters, we live in income levels above or below the poverty level. Live with those dying from diabetes, cancer, heart disease, while species, birds, plants, insects, animals move away up the mountain, find a new place. What do butterflies, picas, shrubs have to do with us living with CO2 levels of 397.64 per million? We expect we will live, whatever the levels. Miraculously, we still have the light. The day is turning to see clearly how everyone is just looking for a way in love through the supply and demand curves to find an equilibrium point. Let's start with the squealing voice of the spin class trainer shouting at people to adjust their gears, climb, chase, ease off, to come upon John Ashbery's 3 poems, and their ideas about the possibility of poetry may shift. Many will be unfriended on Facebook as chat room, blog, cut and paste will replace cowslips and otters as more intrinsically worthy. The day is turning before the grapes can ripen. The empty bottles are still waiting as the day is served roasted with wild mushrooms sprinkled with truffle oil. The day is churning out more news of wars between people at all levels, fighting to own life on Earth, as more bamboo shoots are sprouting to build greater barriers because people need closure. Yet, 1 in 10 will say they believe that the poor in America don't really have hard lives. The cosmologists will continue to search for the Big Bang's afterglow, but forget to mention that above the cloud cover there is a sparkling today. The day will be turning into darkness as the stargazers search for the marble of the Milky Way and the glow of the zodiacal light, while the night will be filled with the glitter of streetlights for others. The day is turning, spurning fears that despite the burning of fossil fuel, changes in the atmospheric oxygen concentration are trivial, reassuring us that we continue to adapt comfortably to the existing levels, stable, unless global-scale geologic, biological processes conspire to change them, and this would take millions of years. Take a deep breath, relax. We can't see the sea rise, the coming drought, or changing patterns of the weather. We're yearning for spring, greening, flowers opening, fish spawning. Today churns out more good news from the Food and Drug Administration is sharing Skywalker's Luke arm, earning millions creating robotic arms and legs for veterans as they come off the battlefield wounded. You have to see a paralyzed veteran get up and walk across the room to see how amazing these devices are, a congressman remarks. The day is turning toward a standoff between the cold and warm fronts waiting for a truce. Leo, July 22nd, August 23rd. Do not show what you feel. It will come off as melodramatic. Yes, you feel it, but showing it won't help today. Instead, pursue what you need. What is it that you need? Guardians of the Galaxy had an impressive opening, topping Captain America, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and X-Men, Days of Future Past. While we look away, the tide keeps rising in the background, swallowing the generational amnesia. Children stand wedged between the adults, edging toward the memorial and listen. Some get hoisted up high to see the black balloons float into a dreary sky. A block away, stuffed animals, waterlogged, sit at the base of another stop sign. An older memorial for another victim fades until the next murder. Then we will light more candles. The youngest, 8, had walked outside to buy an ice cream. His body covered in a white shroud was brought back Sunday afternoon to school, where his father kissed his forehead before taking him to the cemetery. The man who makes the wings is always hiding his emotions well. Another day is turning on immigration stories, dream acts, anchor babies, paths to citizenship, police dogs, federal troops, deployment of railroad cars. A fence, maybe two, with a road between, snaking its way over the mountains, vast deserts, valleys, and backyards. Angel picks up the base of the Black Madonna, slides a lottery ticket underneath, fondles the cross on the rosary beads wound round her neck, strokes the gold auras, 5 hand-carved ladies of Guadalupe. Sanctuary on a shelf, a votive candle for his daily benediction. May you have peace within, paz dentro de paz today. May you trust God. Se puede confiar en Dios, but not the government. No el gobierno, that you're exactly where you're not meant to be. Not forget. Los posibilidades inevitables. Born from faith and libertad, content knowing you are a child of God. Hijo de Dios. Let the presence sink into your bones. Allow your soul, su alma, the freedom to sing, dance, praise, love. El amor por todos y cada uno, for each and every one to choose and claim it. Aclarmo. He dreams, sueño, of talking to wild things. Cosas salvajes. Hey, king bird, good catch. You got that one. Hello, baby asters. Sure look pretty today. Muy bonita. I see you there, rock squirrel. Be careful or a hawk will snatch you up. Run, whiptail, run. Buenos dias, creo que no hemos visto antes. Another day is turning in prison. He imagines, imagina, another jailhouse recipe, sweet and spicy Coke ramen. Ingredientes, pack of beef ramen, half a can of Coke, not diet, spicy cheese swirls, pack of salt peanuts, 1 Slim Jim, facile, easy, cooked noodles, drain water from noodles, place peanuts in laundry bag and crush with boot on concrete floor, mashed cheese swirls, add seasoning, pack peanuts, Coke and Slim Jim, add more Coke for right amount of sauce and flavor. Otro día llorando inconsolable. About me, filling in 14 lines, an application of me, placing me in a space of you to see, documenting my capability to perform a sonnet's essential functions, start dates and end dates of places, references of habits, witnesses of the admitted facts, terrified. Like a rabbit crouching under a hedge to escape a potential hunger. There is the fear of being careless with the truth. Replace parts of me for you. As hard as I might try, I'm afraid you will only see the crown of my head in such a space. Maybe it would be better to itemize life down into floats and trowels, a blazer torn along the back seam, catcher mitts, blood-stained dress, the pearl earring, a glass of bourbon, river stones, patch of moss, tin whistles, swim goggles, caskets, slabs of marble, ashes. Search for that one idea, that one thing that is the showcase in this poem. Make me interesting rather than interested. Best thing that could be said, now I really don't have a problem with me. At what point do you recognize that many things are lies? At what point do you give in to the lies and call it art? At what point do you demand authenticity, accept arguments that there's a certain truth in a poem's lie, begin to generalize? At what point does it change your outlook to the extraordinary and unusual? At what point do you fall back into your former state, begin to blame others? At what point does the flicker of outrage begin? See the signs, begin to reverse things, grease the skids, help people and nature thrive together. At what point do you begin to howl like a wolf? How is that area discovered with obvious signs of disturbance? How now and then we see signals that include impairment? How do we control their movements? How does a flower perform self-extinction? How could we have missed it? How do we get the stars to piss on the horizon? We have clues about how some of this fits together, but it's a jigsaw puzzle. How the emptiness of a park bench just across where he is sitting makes him, as he says, feel happy. The critic wrote that his poetry moved from the transcriptive dealings to the wilder country of the dancing body and the devastated but joking mind. That he was transported into the vastness of that place. Surely no easy task, but how did he do it? If I had more time, I could probably answer that. Why are Mondays an angry, depressed guy wearing a red shirt, and Wednesdays an outgoing older woman who talks too much? How, when I think of orange, I see the number 8, feel a pain in my skin, experience a sense of confusion, and July, blue-green? How come when he is asked whether he is ready for death, he says, yes, but I have to change my passwords, take myself off Facebook. They call it lunch shaming, using a cold sandwich as a threat to make kids pay up. When death is the honor guest, how does one act? A wonderful poet who passed on June 15th. Her name is Kathleen Cheadle Bonanno. I'm sure many people on the Philadelphia poetry scene and beyond knew Kathleen. I met her actually at a reading that Leonard had when her first book, slamming open the door at the Green Line Cafe about probably 4 years ago. And she was such a gracious woman, and it was such a wonderful book, a book of poems that she wrote. I don't know if you know about the book, but it's really based on the horrible death, murder of her daughter. And all these poems are really dedicated to that. And it's just an amazing book of poems to read when you consider that. Kathleen also was the star at the Muse House up in Chestnut Hill, and really gave a stage to a lot of poets throughout the city to read their poems. And it was just a lovely place. I can remember Leonard and his son read together there, one night, and it was just such a great reading. And there's so many other events that I went there. So she will be very much missed. And she's, as I say, she's a gracious lady. She actually wrote a little, we'll call it a blurb for my book, which I have here. It's called Haitian Mud Pies, and it was just so generous. But this poem is called Poem About Light. You can try to strangle light. Use your hands and think you've found the throat of it, but you haven't. You could use a rope or a garrote or a telephone cord, but the light, amorphous, implacable, will make a fool of you in the end. You can make it your mission to shut it out forever, to crouch in the dark, the blinds pulled tight. Still, in the morning, a gleaming little ray will betray you, poking its optimistic finger through a corner of the blind, and then more light, clever, nervy, impossible, spilling out from the crevices, warming the shade. This is the stubborn sun choosing to rise, like it did yesterday, like it will tomorrow. You have nothing to do with it. The sun makes its own history. Light has its way. Poem about light. Kathleen Cheetah Banana. God bless you.